Hello everybody and welcome to Crafting Carlos, and this is my very first FlossTube. Um, a little bit about myself. My name is Carlos. I live in Houston, Texas. Um, I like obviously crafting. I tend to go more for needlework, cross stitching, knitting. I tried a little bit of crocheting, but I figured that I wasn't really a big fan. Um, but today we are going to go ahead and talk about a little bit of the progress that I've done on some of my stitching, my plans, and what I want to kind of achieve. Um, I don't really have people, I guess, or like a group of people that I can talk to in terms of my cross stitching or the crafts that I do. So I am going to just kind of be recording my journey on YouTube, uploading these videos and just kind of seeing my progress and what I do. Currently the designs that I'd like to do tend to kind of lean more towards not too much on like classic work, but a little bit more of a modern style. I do like to kind of mix different worlds together. As you can see, I am a big Pokemon fan. I do love anime, and so I want to kind of try to see if I can mesh those two worlds together. I recently started cross stitching, and I wanted to give it a go to see if it was something that I really enjoyed, since I had already had previous kind of experience with yarns and whatnot. And my first whip, and the only one that I currently have, is this little Charmander. It's started off kind of easy. Well, I mean, it is very easy, but I wanted to kind of test it out because eventually I kind of do want to put this like on a shirt or something. So I'm still kind of testing out the waters on that, on how to do it. The back, I mean, I don't know. The back, it's not the ugliest, but then again, in terms of like how it's supposed to look, I'm not 100% sure. Many of you guys that are out there that are, I would say, more experienced, if you can definitely rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 and let me know how bad it looks or how comparable it looks. I do plan on finishing this. I'm currently doing this. I believe I'm doing this with 3 strings on a 14 count Ada. And I wanted to start off with that to see, it was a little bit more on the easier side, just because it was easier to kind of follow. So for me, obviously the 14, 16, and 18 kind of do look a little bit more easier to kind of manage. But I have seen the work that other people have done with 28 count, 30 count, 32, 36, and higher. So I did kind of got a little bit crazy, got a little bit carried away with some of the materials that I ended up getting. Of course, I did get myself, a handful of different loops, hoops, to kind of try working on, and I'm still kind of debating if I just want to have one big progress. This one is just one big piece that I've kind of folded to get out of the way. But that one might just kind of be more of like my testing little patchwork, so to speak. I did get the DMC flosses. As you can see, I do have some of these back here that I do need to kind of organize and go through. I do have others that I don't currently have out on display. And I do have that right next to my fountain pens and my journal. I do collect, well, I'm not gonna say I collect journals. I don't have a lot of the fountain pens because it can get crazy pretty fast. But I did get crazy with the flosses. So I do have a pretty good range of colors I'm just trying to stay prepared for future projects that I might be possibly working on. Something that is going to help me kind of keep them a little bit more organized. I ended up getting the Atom Hard cross-stitching bobbins, and these are the frosted clear acrylic. They do come with like a big three-ring metal ring. And as you can see, this ones are a little bit more on the frosted side. I didn't want to get the clear ones, but I figured this would be a great start for me to kind of put a lot of my flosses on, and then eventually maybe I want to create my own floss drops to kind of work on the projects that I'll be working on. Apart from the Atom Hard, I think I ended up running across some of their work or products from Instagram. I don't really remember, to be honest. But along with it, on the Etsy page, some of the recommendations was also the Pip and Chip, I believe. This is the DC mini labels, and it does come with quite a few, well, it comes with all of the DMC colors on there. So I think as I work through either my projects or the DMC floss that I have, I am going to be doing those little by little, or I might just kind of go on a live and just, as we're chatting, just kind of go through them, because it is quite a lot of colors. However, I only do have 150 of the bobbins, so hopefully I have either not 150 colors to go through, because otherwise I am obviously gonna have to purchase some. I still haven't quite figured out the best method to store them. If you have any suggestions that you wouldn't mind kind of sharing down in the comments on how you like to store your bobbins, that would be great. That would be helpful to me on how to kind of minimize the chaos that, you know, it's going to create. Some of the patterns that I ended up getting, all of them, obviously, I ended up kind of running through on Instagram. The patterns that I want to try to focus on, some are going to be a little bit more of on the modern side. There are some samplers that I do like. However, sometimes I feel like a little bit more of the classic patterns or classic work, I kind of tend to kind of stay away from them. But some of them are very, very cute. I did end up going to the store and I bought myself, this is the Artis Ada. This one is a 25 Lugana. So I'm still kind of nervous because I haven't worked with anything bigger than a 14. So I don't know how that's gonna go. And I also got these two different colors. One is going to be, I believe, a spa color, which is a little bit of, kind of gives me like a soft mint sage kind of green. And this one is in the color vintage blue. They look very, very soft colors that I can try to kind of work in. I'll be honest, in Houston, we don't really have a lot of cross-stitching stores. I'm not really aware of how big the community is here in cross-stitching. There are some stores that do cater to more of canvas work versus cross-stitching. They do carry an array. I have been to a handful that carry an array of flosses or in different brands of flosses, but nothing that caters a lot to much more of like the fabrics and stuff. I had to drive, if you are in the Houston area, in the metropolitan area, I had to drive to Spring. I believe they still called 3 Stitches. They were the only store closest to me, which was kind of like 45 minutes away from me. They did have a range of fabric there. I'll be honest, I was not aware how pricey the fabric could get. So that was that was a little bit of a shocker to me. But I want to go ahead and show you the works that I got. I mean, obviously with the little Charmander that I'm working on, kind of wanted to get through and kind of finish that. But I did tend to notice that I do kind of get to kind of stray a little bit too much when I'm working too much on it. So I do want to have more than one project. I honestly thought I was going to be more of a monogamous worker when it came to cross stitching, but that does not seem to be the case. So I got myself a couple of different patterns. I got, I believe, 6 different patterns that I want to try to hopefully finish by the end of the year. That is the plan. Will I be able to do it? I don't know, but that's going to be my goal. I have seen the amazing work that other people have shown on Instagram, as well as other YouTube channels and other, floss tubers that I've seen and recently followed. Some of their work is very, very amazing, and I can tell that they have a lot of patience, because a lot of the works that they have are very, very detailed. A lot are on like 36 count, and there's like a 1x1, and that work is very intricate, and the designs are very, very detailed. So hopefully, I feel like I ended up choosing some of the easier ones. The first one that I ended up getting, I did purchase off of Etsy. It was from a store called Cross and Floss. This is the design. These are the Pokemon starters. I'm a big fan of Pokemon. So when I saw this design, I figured it was a great start to kind of mesh those two together. Still debating on if I want to do it on a 16 or if I want to do it on an 18 count. So, or I might just kind of see what I can find, to be honest. But I ended up getting these. I got the PDF version, and I just ended up getting some simple basic kind of manila folders. Went to the store, some of those folders just to kind of, or envelopes, manila envelopes to kind of store them in and keep them a little bit more organized, instead of just having a whole bunch of pages just all over the place. And I just kind of stuck it on here, as you can see, not too well, with a little bit of some tape, some washi tape. This is one of the designs that I ended up getting. Another design that I did get was this design by Screaming Heart Design. Honestly, it hit home, to be honest. This one just says, "Please be patient with me. I am from the 1990s. And if this doesn't make me feel old, I don't know what will." But it seems like it's going to be a little bit more of a simple design. So I'm excited to try out my handiwork on this one. So I might do this one and possibly just the basic cream, or I might just go and buy like a regular white 14 count just to make things a little bit easier. But that one was very, very simple. Another one that I did come across, it was from this, I believe her account name is the Stitch Brat on Instagram, and she went to StitchCon, and on one of her videos that she was recording, she ended up showing, like, it was kind of like a walkthrough of some of other people's works, and I saw a design that somebody else had finished, and I couldn't just kind of, I mean, I guess I could have asked, but because it was just like a quick walkthrough, I had to screenshot it, and I tried to do like a reverse image search, and luckily I found it, and it was a Turtle Quaker sampler. This one is by Owl Forest Embroidery, and honestly, I like turtles, So I figured this was going to be something that was going to be much more easier to manage. But I do like all of the different greens that are shown on here. So I feel like I can probably manage this one with like a regular white or a cream 18 count. I feel like it's going to be very, very much more on the easier designs. Now, whenever I was on Etsy, which is where I ended up finding it at, I ended up kind of browsing some of their other designs, and they did have other designs on there, and I didn't get a chance to print those out, but I'm gonna go ahead and then just put up an image of the two other designs that I got from Owl Forest Embroidery. It is going to be the blue hydrangea, and this one, I like florals, which, you know, is going to be some of the other designs that I'm going to hopefully be stitching. But it was, I don't know, it just caught my attention. It was very, very pretty. I don't know if it's the different colors that are showing up on here that just kind of made it stand out, especially on that type of fabric. I don't know when I'm gonna start this one, but I do want to start it before the end of the year. Another design that I also like from the Owl Forest Embroidery was this one, and this one is called At the End of Summer. Love the colors. They're very, very soft, and it just caught me because, again, it had some floral designs and some greenery. But this one does, you know, this one as well as the previous one that I just showed, the blue hydrangea, do look like they are going to be a little bit more on the intermediate kind of aspect in terms, I mean, at least for me. And I'm hoping that I don't really screw it up. I was looking over the instructions. They do give me the colors for the DMC threads. However, the original designs that they are kind of done in, and I'm gonna try to see if I can post some of the pictures that they showed. It is a variegated thread, I believe, that they have. So I am debating on ordering the variegated floss that they initially recommended to do for this, just because I want my work to kind of resemble as closely as possible as what they ended up showing in the picture. In the event, I do obviously have, you know, the colors just in case that I do, but I wanted to kind of be as similar as that. So I'm probably going to go on their website and I'm going to debate on whether I can get the fabric that they are using along with the variegated floss that they have on there as well. DMC had some variegated floss, but it wasn't as close to any of these that they had, and I didn't want to take my chances. So once I'm done with those, then I'm, you know, kind of hoping to move through. But definitely the Turtle Quaker, that one might be a little bit easier, as well as the I'm from the 1990s. That one might be easier as well for me to kind of complete. The Pokemon starters, I believe, had about 60 different colors, so that one might definitely test my patience. So I still have to kind of get used to working with a lot of colors, because right now for the Charmander, I believe it's less than 20 different colors, but obviously the design work is definitely much smaller. So hopefully I can get through those, but my goal is to finish these at least by the end of the year. I haven't started any of these yet, so I will be kind of keeping track of when I started and when I finished that. The final design that I ended up getting is from Needle Top Designs, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a little picture on here. It was this is the Celestial Orcas, and this one, again, I tried to look for a blue, no, I'm sorry, not a blue, a purple. I tried to look for a purple fabric, but I couldn't find one that was to my liking. I did find one that was from DMC, but that one seemed to be more of like a rainbow purple color. So that one had a little bit more pinkish, purplish pastel colors in there. So if I don't find anything kind of similar to what she used on this, then I might just have to kind of settle for that one. But I want to go ahead and try to put this one for, make this one for my nieces to kind of, they can have in their room on display. So that's my plan for 2025, and I'm hoping that I can get through it all. I've seen the whips that other floss tubers have, and honestly, I'm gonna say they are very gutsy, because a lot of them have like works that they have had for like many years, and I don't know if I want to try to have like, you know, one of my works and then next thing you know it's there for like 2 years and I only do like 100 stitches, and then they like retire for like another 2 months, and then I work on it little by little. So I didn't want to get too crazy, too ahead of myself. So that was my plan, to just kind of start off small. These are simpler designs. If you have any recommendations or like any sites where, you know, you can get the fabric, I would greatly appreciate it, because honestly, I underestimated how much the fabric was going to cost. So that would be a great help. But if you are coming along and if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Consider subscribing to kind of follow me on my journey and see how I do with my cross stitching work. So hopefully next time I do have some of the different works that I have kind of gone through already, kind of started a little bit more ahead. If you know of any great apps that I can kind of use and kind of keep on my tablet that will help me keep track, let me know what apps you use, and then that way I can have something to also help me know the percentage of how far ahead I've gone on my work. So that would be nice. So hopefully next time I will have a little bit more to kind of show to you guys. But thank you so much for watching. And if you have any recommendations of other patterns of, you know, people who've kind of made some easier designs, I guess I should say. I do like florals. I want to hopefully kind of implement a little bit more of that work into the designs that I do end up getting. I would greatly appreciate it. Or some of the more modern designs as well. So for now, that's all I got. I only had one whip, so hopefully next time I'll have a couple different more. I don't have any FFOs, but hopefully, you know, I can get a little bit more on that. But I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.